Hello, everyone. I'm glad to be here online with you, and I would like to thank Dancecult for having me. I'm Tiago Pereira from Portugal. I have a PhD in Science of Culture, and my thesis focused on Boom Festival 2018, and I will talk about it today. We live different times indeed, as we are away from each other and at the same time all connected through digital platforms. And it's funny because one of Boom Festival video promos from 2016 starts, first of all, we are all connected. Something Chiara Baldini reaffirms at Boom Festival 20 years documentary, but they ain't talking about this connection. I will get back to it in a few minutes. First off, I want to bring to the table a brief introduction. Our world is a complex place of contact. World population rises decade after decade, century after century, and yet we are more and more isolated. How is that possible? We changed the world and the way we live in with electricity and its electronic tools, and switching from analog to digital signal or connectivity. The quote, "First we build the tools, then the tools build us," mostly attributed to McLuhan, resonates with, for example, the latest Poland book, where he assumes three plant-derived drugs, caffeine, opium, and mescaline, shape society. Nowadays, our children can do stuff we could not begin to imagine when we were children. How is going to be the world after social networking? It is hard to imagine, right? The first decades of 21st century were seminal to what Bennett et al. Call the festivalization of culture. I am confident to say the concept of festival has evolved into new connotations on the socio-cultural field. Psychedelic trance started as an underground movement in isolated locations, promoted in illegal raves, and 20 years after is a product of mass consumption, diverging from mainstream conventional festival movement due to its acceptance of drug trade and consumption. Boom Festival is a place to be when you are into psychedelic culture. So Boom Festival is in Portugal, in Idanha Nova, most exactly in a place called Herdade da Granja, known internationally as the Boomland. It's a EDM festival. It started as a Goa Trance Festival in '97, and it was a 3 days event. Then the last edition in 2018 is just a different reality. It's an event culture with a 7 days event. In '97, gathered around 3,000 people, and in the supposed 2020 edition, which was postponed, sold out in 19 minutes, selling these 33,000 tickets and doing in ticket sale over 60 million euros, 6 million euros. Is distinguished as one of the most ecological festivals around the world for several times. Its cooperative identity implies a mystical ethos of psytrance movement. Its pathos regards community and otherness. Known as the mothership of psychedelic culture. Its no ordinary features are cosmic care, compost toilets, no plastic cutlery, and nature and human symbiosis. My empirical research included a private Facebook group of 20 individuals, male and female, different professional backgrounds and different nationalities, interviews, and fieldwork. Here are some pictures which opposes the first edition and the 2016 edition. And then we have a party in 91 in Anjuna Beach, Goa, where it Goa trance or the psychedelic trance movement started. And then we have another picture from Asterix playing at Dance Temple in 2018. For the past 2 decades, year after year, we dove ourselves into virtual worlds where social networking became the norm. However, some believe we should unplug to connect, reunite with other human beings as a tribe to engage in a moment of love and mindfulness. This is the top flag of Boom Festival. That's the reason why I believe Boom Festival will not work on virtual worlds. Although I have known Boom Festival since its early stages, I should tell you this festival transformed itself. In other words, it started as a Psytrance festival and 2 decades after turned out to be a global phenomenon of sustainability, electronic dance music, psychedelic culture, and visionary art. For those of you who never heard of Boom Festival, I would recommend watching Boom Festival 20 Years documentary available on YouTube or other Boom documentaries. Boomland is a private property at Marshall Carmona Reservoir, a temporary autonomous zone where Boom Festival is held every 2 years. Far from urban spaces, between the full moon of July and August emerges a 7-day city where technomad tribes, hippies, and enthusiasts reunite as a tribe to engage in a moment of love, mindfulness, and communion where safety and freedom belong together. In 2010, Jeet K. Long identified Boom as a transformational festival, along with Burning Man and others across the globe. I could not tell whether Boom Festival is transformational or not, but I'm sure for many boomers, Boom Festival represents a sacred journey. My PhD thesis focused on Boom Festival 2018, its 12th edition, and unfortunately its last, and its impact on the lives of those who lived the experience. Boom Festival happened every 2 years since 98 until 2018 and has been postponed ever since. Boom Festival opens a space-time dimension. In other words, it represents an heterotopic city limited to 7 days of existence. In this bracketing, this short period of 7 days, life suspension from the ordinary world that allows its devotees to experience something different from the world they know. An heterotopia, a non-hegemonic place of contact where you may find yourself recovered, loved, and fully recharged to return to your daily life. While Boom Festival began as a promoter of an alternative cultural movement, currently Psytrance movement is massive. Boom Festival ticket sales alone makes over 6 million euros profit. There is no way we could talk about an alternative or underground movement for that matter. Boom Festival promotes a reunion of its global tribes who race for a ticket to be sold out in 19 minutes. For my research, I created a group of 20 individuals, male and female, where we shared the information and where I understood Boom Festival importance for some. My empirical research made me conclude Boom Festival operates as a living sanctuary where boomers search for community, spiritual enlightenment, healing and joy through rituals and mystic conceptions in what Bourdieu defined as collective effervescence. Moments of pure joy, I recall. It is often in a moments like these, with our hormones boiling, that amor fati takes over. Those moments of climax, out-of-body experience, transcendental awareness are paramount to love our own fate, our social and physical condition, our life. It is there, in the midst of thousand souls, dancing under the same frequencies of love, joy, happiness, that one may be reborn again for a new world ahead of him. Although Boom Festival main feature is Dance Temple, this event culture cannot be dismissed as a whole. We shall not devalorize the role of psychedelics on this one, but that is a topic of its own and we'll need another hour to talk about it. However, it's important to mention psytrancers are easily distinguishable from other subcultures. Moreover, I understand the notorious identity upgrade since the early stages of this epiphenomenon. As we'll see on the next photographs, the carnivalesque outfits are common at psytrance festivals and play an important role in the identities of urban tribes. So Boomland, as I said, is in Herdade da Granja and works as a sociological lab. Boomland is a post-national zone, and Boom Festival operates as a temporary autonomous zone, a private territory of communities, urban tribes, and subcultural movements, a territory of contact between cultures, over 150 nationalities in 2018. Sorry. A postmodern ritual process, which implies structure as the normal world and anti-structure as Boom Festival and the return to the structure. A space-time dimension propitious to identity mutation, what Howard called plastic hippies. A space-time dimension of collective imaginary where individuals build their own archetypes. An heterotopic space where myth and dream come together. And Boom promotes a sacred journey every 2 years. Here are some photographs. One is the Sacred Fire Ritual, which is at the beginning of the festival, yoga session, and community and belonging session, all from 2018 edition. Here are another pictures showing the outfits, the paraphernalia that people use at psytrance festivals and mostly at Boom Festival. Well, here are one of the major structures in Boom Festival, the Shaman Woman. Thousands of psytrancers in Dancecult, the major area of dance in Boom Festival, and Boomland at night, which reveals how this technomad city needs electricity and these lasers and colors that shape this heterotopic space. Boom Festival promotes feelings of otherness, community, and symbiotic vibes between nature and human beings through its ethos and pathos. Here lays the reason why Boom Festival cannot be lived other than at its sacred place called Boomland. Also, I understood that the reconnecting experience resides on what Albach called place of memory and collective memory. These Boom Festival memories keeps its spirit alive and promotes this living sanctuary as a sacred place, only to be renewed every 2 years. So in conclusion, in consuming life, Bauman suggests that in post-industrial society, we are both the promoters of the product and the product we promote. In other words, boomers are Boom Festival promoters and the product to which Boom Festival promotes itself. Boom Festival is a brand. It is operated and promoted as other brands in order to achieve mass consumption, which is its cooperative identity proves it. However, my research made me conclude Boom Festival operates as a living sanctuary where boomers search for community, spiritual enlightenment, healing and joy through rituals and mystic conceptions every 2 years, thus providing to attendees a reconnecting experience. Although Boom Festival main feature is dance temple, this event culture cannot be dismissed as a whole. Boom Festival promotes feelings of otherness, community, symbiotic vibes between nature and human beings through its ethos and pathos. Last, Boom Festival cannot migrate to digital platforms and can only believe that this sacred place called Boomland. Final note, one must keep in mind it is all this sociological process that reinforce Boom Festival experience as a sacred journey that reconnects body and spirit in a simple liminal moment of joy, like we are all connected by an energy field. Well, it was all. Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Tiago.
Thank Thank you.
All right, so we have 6 minutes for questions. Yeah, does anybody want to start? I can kick it off also if that's easiest. Unless anyone is chomping at the bit. Great.
Well, Emilia, as your question, I think I should answer it or write it. I don't know. Tell me what you.
I'm sorry, could you say that again? I didn't quite get all that.
Well, Emilia wrote your question for me at the chat. I don't know if I should answer it. Well, Emilia says, Tiago, do you think Boom as a mainstream event? Well, I would say Boom is a mainstream event in ADMC culture or the Goa Trance movement. Because if we talk about Boom Festival 20 years before, of course, Boom Festival was an alternative movement. Nowadays, it's mainstream, but it's not the conventional mainstream festivals like Coachella or Rock in Rio, but on in other perspective, like they are the mainstream events for the psychedelic culture, and I think that the acceptance of drug trade and consumption, it's what diverge these mainstream festivals of psytrance from the conventional festivals around the world.
I hadn't even noticed that we had people chatting. This is great. Okay, thank you. So that was Emilia's question. Any other? I feel like
I have a question actually. So Tiago, what do you think are the limits or not the limits of the politics of Boomfest? In other words, and this my question can be applied to any presentation this whole weekend, but so for instance, let's say there was a global Boomfest and everyone on the entire planet did boom, right? Would it change our lives for the better? Like, would we all of a sudden achieve a new humanity? Would people have insights about what it means to be human, things like that?
I'm sorry, I didn't quite follow your question. If everyone went to Boom and then turned out to be in a more positive way, is that what you mean?
Yeah, so there's obviously a utopian message at Boom and really most festivals. And I always think about what are the limits of that politics.
About politics?
Like the politics of the utopian vision.
Well, Boom Festival, let's say that its main identity is against politic rights, but Boom Festival itself implies a political decision. So when they, through its ethos and pathos, try to bring together community and make you more friendly of nature, that is already a political decision that you have to make. So you have to decide, or you want to be like this, or you want to keep like the others. You know what I mean? So in other words, I would say that Woodson say, I don't know now which the reference, but Woodson say that parties are good because they don't happen all the time. And Boom, if Boom would happen every week, the fun of it would vanish. That's why Boom is important, because it's bracketing in our daily life. So you leave your world to go into not an utopia but an heterotopia, a city that starts and vanishes in 1 week, but the place is still there. The city vanishes. It's just like Burning Man. The big difference is that Boom is more conventional in a way, because people go there to see the concert of the DJ in Burning Man, it's different. Well, never been to Burning Man, but it's a different way of being. And yeah, I guess from last 10 years till now, Boom Festival as making a more strong political decision, not the conventional political way for you to take a left or a right, but for you to take a decision about the place that you keep in this world. If you want to be nature friendly, if you want to be more open to other nationalities, you know what I mean. So politics is everywhere. The thing is that sometimes it's even, sometimes it's straightforward, and I think festivals are important for that role.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Tiago. Jasmine, did you want to ask any questions or comment at all?
The one thing that was on my mind was just the financial structure of Boom and how that changed from, you know, its beginnings in 1997, I believe, till the very last festival. Were there corporate pressures? You know, were the financial aspects part of the postponement of the festival? Would you just be able to expand on that a little bit more?
Well, Boom Festival doesn't need, or well, let's make it this way. Boom Festival avoids publicity. There's no major brands at Boom Festival because Boom Festival is against major brands. But Boom Festival is a brand itself. The promoters are boomers. Boomers go to Boom Festival, and then the best publicity that Boom Festival can have is these memories from boomers who spend a week at Cidade da Granja at Boomland, saying to his friends, "Hey man, you have to come next Boom. That is crazy. That's a wonderful experience." And that's how Boom Festival came to what is today. And for you to get my point of view, it's 33,000 tickets sold out in 19 minutes. Know what I mean? This was for 2020 edition that didn't happen, and in 2018 the site crashed because there was so much pressure to buy the ticket that the site crashed several times. And other thing is that different than Ozora wants to make more people in, and Boom Festival in 2014 allowed for nearly 40,000 people in, but then realized that mostly families with kids had problems to go to the toilet, to get clean water and stuff, and to cook and stuff. And then they decided to go back again to the 33,000 people. And so this is also, in a way, a political view. You know what I mean? It's like we don't need the money. We want to give the best to the people, but in other way, if you make 6 million euros in 90 minutes, of course, money, you can't deny the money. It's a lot of money for just tickets alone. You know what I mean?
On that note, I'm actually kind of surprised that the profits from the ticket sales are only $6 million for that large of a festival. So, I mean, I'm absolutely interested in the questions posed by both of the other panelists here about kind of like what is going on with this, who is running this, who is like the bank account numbers, and
yeah, but
what is their relationship to the
Good Mood, Good Mood, who holds Boom Festival, who are the organizers or the guys behind Boom Festival. Yeah. Nowadays have 2 or 3 different companies. One is Dancecult, then they do Big Gathering, which is different realities and where the money flows.
Yeah.
And actually, 6 million euros, it's not so much compared to Burning Man, which is much a lot more money. But then in Portugal, it's much cheaper to build than in United States. All right. So and Herdade da Granja, it's from Boom Festival since 2017. They paid over €1 million to acquire that property. So
that's not €1 million. I mean, like that's like median housing cost in Boulder, Colorado right now.
Yeah, but we are talking about Portugal. It's
Yeah,
different reality.
If
you go
yeah,
to
Switzerland,
it's maybe like United States or worse.
Yeah, I see.